In our previous lesson, we looked at what chords are, the 4 basic types, and how they sound. Today we are going to look at how these chords are formed so you can play and hear their unique sounds yourself. Now don't worry if you've never played the keyboard before. Trust me, anyone can play any of these 4 chords once you pay attention closely. And please ensure that you understand each section before moving on to the next. The 4 basic chords we learnt are made up of 3 notes each. So this is a major chord, and you can see the 3 notes I'm playing. 1, 2, 3. This is a minor chord. 1, 2, 3. This is an augmented chord. 1, 2, 3. This is a diminished chord. 1, 2, 3. These 3 notes you saw me play for each of the chords are called the root, the third, and the fifth, respectively. The root is the foundational note of the chord. That is where you build the chord from. So if I pick this key and decide to form a chord from it, this becomes my root. If I pick this key too and decide to form a chord, it becomes my root. So your root is like your starting point, basically. The third is the next note that comes after the root. Then the fifth is the final note at the end of the chord. The difference in the sounds of the 4 basic chords is as a result of a change in position of either the third, the fifth, or both from one note to another. Let's take these examples. This is a major chord. So this is my root, third, and fifth. And this is how it sounds. Now listen to the change in sound when I move the third to a different note. This is the third, and I'm changing it to this note. This was the sound we had at first, and when I move the third, this is the sound we have. Let's take another example. This is a major chord. And in this example, I'm going to change the position of the fifth, which we said is the last note at the end here. I'm changing it from here to this note. This was the sound we had at first. And when I move the fifth, this is what we have. You realize that just by changing the position of the third and fifth, the sound of the chord changes. The root note, however, remained constant throughout. This is because it is the foundation of the chord. So when you are alternating between the 4 basic chords of a particular key, it is just the third or the fifth that move. The root remains constant. An interval in music is the distance between 2 notes. With each of the 4 basic chords, the intervals between the root and third, and the third and fifth are different. That is what helps you to form them. Let's look at this example. These are two different chords. Look at the distance between the root and third of the top image as compared to the bottom. You realize the gap is a bit wider in the top as compared to the bottom. These are another set of chords. Look at the distance between the third and the fifth. You realize the gap is wider in the bottom image as compared to the top. So in each chord, the distance between the notes are different, and once you can determine the distance, you can form the chord. Now, this is not something you do with a ruler or a measuring equipment. There's a very simple concept you can use, and that's what we'll be looking at next week. So make sure you don't miss next week's lesson. Hope you enjoyed today's lesson. May God give you understanding, and don't forget to like, comment, and share.